Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to the channel. And on today's topic, we're gonna jump straight into it. The topic is, I lost it. Oh, okay. My topic for today was love doesn't have any rules. And I think it's like, obviously it makes the most sense when I say it out loud. Like it sounds like I'm not really saying much. But I recently had found this video that kind of like framed it very well. And I just really wanted to kind of touch on that. I think over the years, what we've done is we have altered the social norms of dating via social media. Meaning that social media is our grading grid on how dating goes. And that is something we didn't have before because obviously internet is new and we didn't have this like worldwide access to see what everybody's doing at all the time and being people business and and whatever the case may be. And so what has actually initially happened is that now social media is our grading guide for dating. And now you'll have people tell you like, oh my God, like if it takes more than this, then you should leave him. If he doesn't know that he wants to marry you in 6 months, then you should leave him. If he doesn't, Shut it, Shanice. Okay? The best decision I've ever made in my life was to delete social media. The moment I get overwhelmed by it, I delete the app. Like, you're not gonna stress me out. Like on my payphone. On my payphone, you're not going to stress me out. That's not what's going to happen. I noticed that a lot of the decision or how I move in love was kind of like grounded in the social norms that were created on social media, to the point where I would kind of sabotage things out of lack of patience, because that is just what is fed to you on your feed all the time by these dating gurus that tells you how to go on about life. And you start hearing shit like, oh, if he doesn't take you on the first day, if he doesn't on the first day, there's too much rules and regulation. When at the time back then, when we didn't have this internet shit, it was really the core was to get to know each other and see how compatible we are. What does this build now? What is the problem now? I'm starting to see this pattern of a bunch of people getting into a relationship. And they got into this relationship because obviously the social grading scale gave them a 9 out of 10 because he did all the right things and she said all the right things. And so we didn't actually get to middle ground of me finding out if we were compatible. It's just the first couple of points and how things played out was just so perfect that I gave this a shot. Now, you could have perfect dates and still choose not to be with that person. Unfortunately, because of the social media grading scale, people tend to like skip over the whole, are we actually compatible, and just jump straight into a relationship. And so then you see couples 6 months into their relationship be like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to keep this going. I'm not sure about this person. He does this, that, and she does this, that. And it's like, that is actually the problem. Is like, you want this overly perfected version of this love story. Love stories are not even perfect, and you should know that, because a lot of people go, I want that Disney fairy tale. I want that Disney. But baby, if you knew about that Disney fairy tale, you would know that Cinderella was locked up in that motherfucker. Open that cell, let that girl out of jail. But Cinderella was locked up in that house for years on end. Like, that girl was struggling and suffering and hustling until her Prince Charming came about. And even when they got together, y'all saw the hassle where she lost that slipper and she was still not trying to get caught. And I don't know, like, if we're watching the same Disney movies, then y'all should know that ain't shit perfect. That is literally what they're trying to portray. Like the whole Sleeping Beauty shit, she got voodooed and then she had to go into an internal sleep. Like, the girl went through so much before she actually found peace. I could keep going. Almost every Disney story is like this. Like, there's always a struggle before we actually find what the middle ground is. And I think that is the initial message we should take from a lot of these cartoons, whether than just seeing like the whole perfectionist side. For two, because I did say the whole struggle, I don't believe love needs to be hard. I don't believe that. I honestly don't think that you need to suffer and go through rocks and mountains and touch Mount Everest at the top and come back down. I don't think so. I think you guys will face challenges. You guys will face misunderstandings. You guys will face disagreements. it's up to you to rate that scale of like how bad these disagreements or these things are, because in that moment of you guys getting to know each other, it's actually seeing how compatible you guys are. And you only can find out how compatible you and an individual are by how you guys resolve issues. Nobody is perfect. So in that moment, it's like, how am I going to resolve this? How do we discuss it? How do we speak to each other? How do we move about it? How do we correct each other? There are so many things. People are so different. And I could go down this whole rabbit hole, because really what it leads to is you knowing yourself so well that you know what's for you and what's not for you in the moment that it appears for you, and then you speed up that whole thing. But there's absolutely no rules. God has done the luxury of humbling me over and over and over until that was drilled into my head, because I actually thought that there was a perfect version of love, and that just doesn't exist. Like that was God popped my bubble. And he was like, that just doesn't exist. So it's like you'll go through Wahala and this, that, and a third with so many different people. And, you know, at the end of the day, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least you went through the trials and errors of what that was supposed to be. I think why it was so much more essential back then to be so much more open into going into love was that there was no cameras. There was no rules or regulation. There was nobody telling you how to do it, where to do it, since when. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just you and your feelings, and you taking into consideration that person's feelings. We still had a great attention span, so you actually had patience to really think about if you wanted to be with that person or not. So I think the older I grow and the more, now that my frontal lobe is fully developed, as y'all can see, I've understood that the whole bashing people or like making things like I would never and putting rules and regulation, terms and conditions, all types of stuff on love is just, it's not gonna happen, because love is just such a high range of emotion. Every emotion has an ounce of love in it. And so that's just to tell you how crazy love is blasted all throughout our whole livelihood. We're just beings that are made to love, regardless of what we're doing. When you hate, you love. When you're upset, you love. When you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to that point of being angry, if you got to that point of being so sad, if you got to that point of being so upset, it's because you care, it's because you love. So love has an ounce in each and every single emotion. It is too broad for you to try to frame it into one little box and be like, if you love me, then you'll do da 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 da. If you love me, then you'll do da da da. Like, it's not a good way to go on about life. So guys, that concludes my message for this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video to someone that you feel like should hear this. And if that person is you, share it to yourself, my love. Thank you guys so much for the immense support that I've been getting. I'm gonna say this in every single video because I don't think you guys realize how much you guys are impacting me. I receive emails from you guys like saying how much my videos affect you guys, and it honestly, like, y'all don't understand. It does so much for me. So I just want to thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, my loves. Mwah.